also with the condonation and the appeal that has to be filed shortly by the shareholders. I think that will happen by after the meeting with the shareholders, and soon that will happen. I think I personally feel in a period of 3 to 6 months, we can look at something happening from the finance ministry, hopefully. If not, it can take a little longer. I cannot guarantee that, it's not in my hands. But we are going to do our level best. Our team is going to go everywhere, day and night to make sure this works. Also, coming to the Honorable Court, meanwhile, we are going to request the Honorable Court to give us an interim stay. So at least the bank could restart its operations. Bank can be operational, and basically it can start paying back its depositors. That's the whole idea behind it.
Are you going to approach Supreme Court or High Court?
I think initially we will move before the Honorable, Goa bench of the Bombay High Court, and I think thereafter, if required, just in case if we have to go to the Honorable Apex Court, we will go to the Honorable Supreme Court if required. But I think in the interest of the jurisdiction, I think the Honorable Goa bench of the Bombay High Court should be sufficient.
What will you prayer?
See, I think the prayer is going to be that they should eventually look at the grounds that we have got, look at the case, because it's a very fit case based on the valuation of the assets of the bank, which were not taken into account while cancelling the license. So basically, we are going to request for an interim stay. Meanwhile, Finance Ministry is going to decide on what they are going to do about the proposal. So at least the bank would basically restart operations, restart paying its depositors back, and then it could get its properties revalued also. And then once it's revalued, they can either liquidate them, they can either eventually raise refinancing, they can do refinancing against those properties, get more liquidity, and pay off the depositors, because I think not a lot of people are left over now, whose money is actually stuck up. A lot of people have been paid back, but since whatever is left over, they will be paid back. And I think whatever is left over for the DICGC, they will pay it off after every single person is paid back.
You say this.
I don't understand why. I eventually also asked them the same question, that you should eventually have gone ahead and approached the relevant court. They approached the relevant court when Section 35A was imposed and they got a stay. But I don't know what were the reasons they had to withdraw that petition. I don't know why.
It is due to their negligence, you are saying?
I don't say that. I would say I would have to eventually, let them look at it, whatever it is. Well, what is going to happen in future is different. Whatever has happened, it is something, their act and their stuff. I am not going to comment on that. I'm only going to say this thing today to you, that they should have approached it. I don't understand what were the reasons, but I think now, since we are going to be working on this closely with the shareholders, we can do this together.
One last question.
Sure.
What is the hope in this?
Well, the hope, let me give you an example.
And one more thing, that don't you think that you are too late in this?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think in the interest of the public, in the interest of the shareholders, in the interest of the depositors, it's never late, because you can always file a condonation application. So that is permissible in the, in the law, and I think that is basically accepted by all the honorable courts also. So I don't see that's a problem. That is on the tribunal and on the honorable courts to decide whether they want to accept it or not. But usually, I think the success rate is very high.
Within how much period should be?
I think we should be looking at something interesting happening from the courts. I know December nothing is going to happen, because there are going to be holidays from now on. So there's hardly a week left. But I think right now, I think my keen interest is to meet all the shareholders, have their suggestions, to make sure that all the interest of the shareholders and depositors is eventually taken into account, and all the problems are kept in our mind while eventually drafting an MOU. So we will be signing a memorandum of understanding with all the shareholders, because that's the legal process which will be followed. I think we are doing a public notice, and after the public notice, we are going to be signing that with several shareholders across the state. Once eventually, because it's very difficult to call all 200,000 people one day. So in the public notice, they will be able to approach one of our offices in Goa, which is, the details will be given in the public notice. So they can approach there, they can meet, they can have a clarification. Yeah.
Before MOU, license has to be reviewed.
The MOU has to happen.
First.
Yes, the MOU has to happen so that we can do legal representation. Our legal, our law firm, can actually go ahead and represent them legally. and once they represent them legally before the honorable courts in the country, and on the basis of that, that's the process, then we will get an interim stay, hopefully, and I think we should be able to get it. And license in the country has been reinstated in the state of Maharashtra, in Satara, Jijamata Mahila Sahakari Bank, which had a lot of public cry, a lot of issues happened. When their license was reinstated by the finance ministry, because an incorrect speaking order was passed by the Reserve Bank of India, then if human error can happen there, human error can happen here also. So I think it's a case which is fit, and I think all the shareholders and depositors of the bank should have that faith, because I think since it has been done once and the legal procedure has been set, so I don't think there's a problem getting the second one reinstated. And we have strong grounds, so that's the best part.
Do you take help from Goa government, or will it?
Well, if required, we would love to eventually get their support. But I think unfortunately, the interesting part is going to be Goa is anyway going to come under a code of conduct. So it's basically there is going to be no government, which is going to be in place. So that's the other part, and I think it's going to take a couple of months while they have elections anyway. So I think central government is going to be, most probably there. If the Goa government would like to come up and support us, in the interest of the shareholders and depositors, they are free to, and I welcome them. But I think I would like to say that central government specifically is going to be pretty much supportive in the interest of the depositors, because if you look at the policies which have been made, under the guidance of Mr. Amit Shah, the Honorable Cooperative Minister of India, this has created a history, because cooperative banks could never actually go ahead and get listed on a stock exchange. I mean, it was never there. Cooperative banks could not do private placement, so it was never there. So now it has opened up a completely new sector for investors to come in and invest in the sector, revive these banks who are sick, who are weak, help them grow. Because the only problem with these banks is they have shortage of capital, which is one major problem. So if they have infusion of capital happening, they can be revived, So if they can get, funds through private placement, if they can get funds through the public issue, well, they're going to be fine. They're not going to be failing, And then also, I think this thing is going to come up even for the multi-state cooperative societies, cooperative banks, multi-state cooperative banks, sorry. It is there that they can sell their NPAs to asset reconstruction companies. So if they have bad loans, if they have NPAs, they can sell it to asset reconstruction companies, the ARCs. So ARCs can actually go ahead and buy all that bad loans and recover that from people. Eventually, it goes outside of the balance sheet of the bank. It comes into the receivables. So basically, the provisioning is done, because then they know the receipt. So it is going to be very much beneficial for the banks. I don't know whatever has happened in the previous management. I'm sure they would have had their own issues with it. But I can tell you this, in the near future, we are there. We're going to work hand in hand to make sure that the bank is completely revived. And we're going to work with the shareholders closely to make sure everybody's interest is very much protected. We are not going to do anything against the interest of the shareholders. And we would love to eventually beat them. Unfortunately, there's a venue issue in Goa. We can't call in 200,000 people in one place. So we'll have to eventually go ahead and beat them, in separate areas. So we are going to do
You are not connected to any political party.
No. We are not. I'm not connected
And this
or
is not-
associated
and this is not
from
an
any
election
political
gimmick.
party. No. This is not, and I've got nothing to do with any politicians. I've got nothing to do with any political parties. But I'm not connected with any political parties at all. I can tell you this, that I am only focused on the banking sector, and my vision is to make a commercial bank, which has branches around the world. So I am working 20 years down the line to make a bank which has local branches around the world. So I'm trying to make the world's local bank.
How many branches do you have? Your